that dude. Bet I see you from the top, yeah, real soon. Looking down on the haters that I've been through. Told them I'll see you later, yeah, big truth. I keep a real good pace. Built a big house, damn, look at that place. Up in my mind, cause that's my space. House so big, full of positive things. And I can't be shook, cause I ain't no rook, man, I wrote the book.
Hey, boy, it's been a minute. Is that my boy Dave in the building?
What's going on? Let's go. Are we ready? Are we ready this year to get back into this?
I'll tell you something, boy. It's been a busy 6 months, but look, we back in the building. Things are looking good. It's been a fired up off season. You know, we got a head coach that like everybody's picking up Ben Johnson to potentially be the coach of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'd be happy if he was coach of the month a couple of times. I'm not going to be selfish.
Now, you know what, bro? I agree, but when you look at the free agency, dog, like, hey, I'm thoroughly impressed with what we've done in free agency. I'm gonna be honest. What's your take on that?
The interior line. I mean, what he did with the acquisitions on the guards and the center. Sure, we paid a lot for homeboy from Atlanta, but man, good centers cost money, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. I love it, left to right. I was taken aback a little bit by the Grady Jarrett. I did not see the Grady Jarrett move coming. That kind of came out of nowhere, but I was fine with it. Grady's a dog. So,
man, hey, look, Glenn Morgan just joined the building. What's up, Glenn? What's up, baby?
Hey. What's up, fellas? How's it going? How's it going, everybody?
Man, it's good seeing you, Glenn. How you doing, man?
And I am managing. Thank you. How's everybody managing themselves?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Look, ready for another year.
It's 2025. A lot has happened. So, we're just sitting here just recapping before we even get to the draft, from a new head coach, on paper, a great coaching staff. And then like David was just saying, when you look at the acquisitions of Grady Jarrett, again, I think he's going to be a great culture setter. Then you look at that offensive interior line.
Dahlman, we got Tooney, Joe Tooney, Dahlman, big Jonah Jackson. I love it, man. It's a lot of beef up front. I love it.
It's 100% USDA beef up front.
We'll go with that. With that.
So look, Glenn, before we get to the draft talk, what do you think about? Because I think that other defensive lineman that they got, I think he was signed to be a little bit more versatile than than D-Walk. But at the end of the day, I think he's gonna be a sneaky signing, so that's gonna be productive. What you think, Glenn?
I think it's a depth move, and that's fine. I'm good with that. You have to do that. Sometimes, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer at all. I'm really not. And everything so far has been positive. And the reason why I said I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer is I threw that disclaimer out because obviously I'm about to say something that's going to be construed, or it could be construed as negative. Sometimes I think we hear, and as not only as Bears enthusiasts, Bears fans, but also as people who are, we express our opinions about what the Bears have done. I think sometimes we get caught up in our own echo chamber, and everything that we do seems to be good/great. How we sound right now sounds a lot like how we sounded last year. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that there weren't good moves that happened last year. I think, in retrospect, we can see where a lot went wrong, where a lot was avoided. And I think some of the positivity that we're talking about now, which you guys have expressed and others, is that there seems to be an acknowledgement of the mistakes specifically that were made along the offensive line, specifically with aspects of the coaching staff that seem to be improvements. And that's what they are right now. They seem to be. We won't know until the rubber hits the road, so to speak. That being said, there's more flexibility in the possibilities that we have than what I think we thought we were doing or saw last year. And what I mean by that is because of what they've done in free agency, the things you guys just hit on, they being the Bears, have put themselves into position to be able to be flexible in this draft to where right now a top 10 pick can just be the best player available. Doesn't have to be a position specific. And that's not where we've been in quite some time. Maybe in the last 20, 30 years, to be quite honest, if not a little bit longer. And having 3 picks in the top 50, having 4 picks in the top 100, there's so much more that this team can do to solidify this foundation that they seem to be building. And that's where I'm saying we got to make sure we're not caught up in our own echo chamber, because there's still more work to be done. And it's really going to hinge upon this draft. It really is. And it seems as though right now, with having Ben Johnson involved with the decision making, because clearly a lot that happened in the free agency seems to be not just pace, seems to be other voices that we didn't hear last year. But we still don't know how this draft is going to pan out. And it's not a make or break, but it's definitely something that can be a definitive aspect in terms of the Bears knowing who we are, who we are. I'm not the Bears, who the Bears are, and what direction they're going in. But they really, really need to do very good on this draft. I was listening to some radio on the way in, and somebody, I don't know who it was on one of the ESPN stations, and they were talking about teams. It had a top 5 teams like they have to win the draft, or have to really. This draft is important. Like they can't mess up. Like who can't afford to mess up? And the Bears weren't in that person's 5. I mean, ironically, Green Bay was. But I'm wondering, and I say that to you guys: is this a draft that the Bears have to nail? And by nail, I mean 3, no less than 3 of those top 4 picks have to hit. Do you feel that, or do you think they've done enough in free agency that this draft, even if they don't hit on it, we can still, the Bears can still have that arrow pointing up? What do y'all think?
Glenn, I think the free agency aggressiveness, obviously, I didn't see us signing not 1 but 2 wide receivers, with Zacchaeus, and I'm probably butchering his last name, but Olamide Zacchaeus and Devin DuVernay. I mean, I didn't see us going that route. I didn't see us, listen, we all begged for offensive line aggressiveness. I didn't think it was going to be 3 big acquisitions. I didn't think, obviously, we talked about defensive tackle being a need. They signed not 1 but 2. I see a lot of smoke in regards to the Bears being aggressive to the point where maybe we don't sit at 10. Everybody talking about trading down. Yeah, maybe there's a plan to trade up.
Really? What would you trade up for?
I mean, the 2 names that I'm hearing is Genty and Graham. I know, Glenn, you asked me who I heard. I didn't say you didn't say who I wanted. I'm all for. I'm fine with taking Genty if he's at 10. I'm not really cool for trading up for him. But Mason Graham, I really like Mason Graham. Mason Graham out of Michigan, the defensive tackle. That guy to me is very much like a nonstop motor, game wrecker in the middle, like an Aiden Hutchinson. Ironically, they're both from Michigan. But Mason Graham, I'm hearing smoke around Mason Graham. There were some people throwing out, well, the Bears might try to move up and get Abdul Carter. I think that's a little too aggressive and a little too out there. But I mean, that's what I hear. That's the smoke right now. And
what do you feel though? How do you forget the smoke? What your estimation?
I want them to stay at 10. I want them to stay at 10 and let the draft board fall to them. And if certain things happen and play out to where certain players or certain quarterbacks don't get taken in those top 9, we could listen to calls. I'm actually hoping Shedeur Sanders falls. I'm hoping he slides, and he's on the board when the Bears draft, because I can think of 1 team, maybe 2, that would definitely call Chicago to move up. And so let's forget about Genty and let's forget about Graham. Yes, and let's say we stay at 10. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want Hampton. Everybody say, well, we can just take Omarion Hampton. I'm like, you better not take him at 10. He is not a 10 running back.
So let me ask you this. Time out. So why would you take why would you be happy with Genty at 10, but not Omari Hampton at 10?
Because Genty to me is just a step above. To me,
Based,
Genty.
what do you see in his game? Like, describe for me the difference, if you will. Describe for me, just diametrically.
I think. All right. Well,
here's
if I do the two, because I've looked at a ton of tape, I'm like, if I do the two, Omari and Hampton is one cut and go. One cut go. There's no wiggle. He's a bowling ball. He's north and south. Whereas Genty to me is very much like, he reminds me of LT. He reminds me of Tomlinson. Little bit Tomlinson, little Maurice Jones-Drew, but he's faster than Maurice Jones-Drew. And he's got more wiggle. He's got more creativity. He's got great vision. He's got, great hips. Low balance is amazing. And he's got, I've seen him run away from opponents. So he's got that home run speed. I mean, I get it. Boise State. It's not my number one, but I'm kind of I'm mentally preparing myself for something like that to happen, like a running back. But me, if we stay at 10, I'm thinking defensive lineman, or I'm on the fence on Will Johnson. I'm on the fence. I mean, but I like Will Johnson, but I'm on the fence. My thing is he better than Braxton? Probably,
Maybe Will Campbell. Will Campbell.
Yeah, Will Campbell. I'm sorry. Will Campbell. Yeah. So, I mean, is he a day one starter? If they believe he's day one starter, then you take him at 10. Are you talking projects? And no, I don't want anybody that's a backup drafted at 10. I need day one starter at 10. That's my mindset.
Okay.
I'd love to hear your feedback on Genty. We could agree, because it's clear to me that you are not on the Genty train.
Not at 10. I think he's a fine running back. I don't think there's anything wrong with his skill set. I think he offers a lot for teams that need a running back that can be someone who can, get you some yards in chunks at times. I think it's fine. I think he's a sound running back. I don't know if I run my offense through at 10. To me, if you take a running back at 10, that's someone I need that I can run my offense through, i.e. Saquon Barkley. That's someone you can run your offense through. Yeah. If you're to me at running back, if you're a top 10 running back, I've got to be someone I can run my offense through. And that's clearly that's not going to be the case here, because our quarterback is who this whole thing is going to revolve around. So to me, that right there means I don't need to have him at 10. On top of the fact that this draft is extremely deep, in all my years, as Hawk Harrelson used to say, in all my years, Wimpy, in all my years, I can't recall a draft class as deep at running back as this one. I'm not saying that this like the greatest high end talent. I'm talking about just in terms of depth. There are going to be running backs that aren't drafted, maybe 2 or 3 that will be probably starters in 2 or 3 years. I think it's, if not even this year, I think it's that deep a class. So I don't need to have to get him. I can get Quinshon Judkins, and I'm just as happy.
I like him too. I like both Ohio State boys. Yeah.
Right. Because I can get Trayvon Henderson, and I'm okay. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa was a little bit bigger back. To me, it's redundant because you've got Roschon, but again, another back that can be someone that I can depend on. It can be a kind of a bell cow. And there are a host of other running backs too. So at 10, I don't need him because the offense is not going to run through him. I think with Will Campbell, I'm okay drafting him. He may or may not be your day one starter, and I understand, your reluctance to pick someone at 10 who's not going to be, a day one starter. I get that. Who obviously that's not the quarterback, any other position in the quarterback. I get what you're saying. Yeah. That being said, Braxton's in his last year. Braxton hasn't done anything special that mandates that you have to sign him. Right. Braxton still struggles with power rushers. I know everyone's talking about how short his arms are. I get that can be an issue, but here's a guy who played in the SEC for several years, started for several years at left tackle, held his own, did very well. I don't believe that he's going to be, a treadmill that people just run over time and time and time again. Plus, I think he has enough versatility that he could step inside if need be. And he gives you that depth on the offensive line. And look, the offensive line, the signings looks nice on paper, but we've got a guy that's going to be our right tackle who's coming off of injury. Tooney's an older lineman. We don't know, injuries come and go every year. You can't bank on when they're going to happen, but to have the depth in case they do happen, especially on offensive line, especially when you have such a young quarterback, I'm okay drafting Will in that regard. That being said, some of the other positions you mentioned, it's like, moving up to get Abdul Carter, I agree with you. It's probably going to be too hefty a price. You don't have to do that. Why? Because, again, this is an extremely deep class with edge rushers, particularly 4-3 type edge rushers. I'm a big fan of Landon Jackson.
Really?
Dude, here's a guy, you watch him play, you wonder, one, his wingspan is ridiculous. So you got between he and oh my God, get out of Florida. That's our DT. Jesus Christ. Javon, thank you. Between he and Dexter, getting your arms up, I mean, it makes it very difficult for passers to be able to get, pass and around those arms. But not only that, his hips are so loose, his ability to drop back, and he is very comfortable dropping back into the short zone areas. I've seen him do it several times at Arkansas. I've literally seen him take over a game and almost dismantle Tennessee. The big reason why Tennessee lost in Arkansas is because they didn't have an answer for Landon Jackson. Here's a guy who loves playing the game. He has that burst. It's not like super explosive off the edge, but it's enough to where he can get into your lineman, drive him back with his arm, his wingspan. He's able to, and he's got a couple of nice moves. So his ability to disengage, create that stick arm, and then be able to go around, and him holding the edge. There's so much he can afford you, and he can also step inside as well. So you can get between he and Dexter in the middle, and having Montez on the outside, and then have another edge rusher. You have enough length and speed and agility that it can be very difficult. I'm not saying it's the Philadelphia Eagles defensive front, but that type of front would pose a myriad amount of problems for offenses to have to solve. Just think about those guys stunting. It would be a nightmare. It would be very difficult. So I like him because of his size, his length, versatility, his athleticism, his football IQ, and that's someone you can probably get, with your,
second
late,
round.
What you say, late second round, So all that to say, and I said all that to say that you don't have to get Abdul Carter. you don't have to give up everything to get Abdul Carter, because there are other guys that you can get that can give you, enough off that edge.
There's some interesting edge players that I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't want us to sacrifice future draft capital and our late round picks in this year's draft to move up to get Abdul. I like guys. I like Green. I like Prince out of I can't pronounce his last name, but I like Mike. I like Mikael Williams out of Georgia. I think he's sneaky good.
He's sneaky bad.
Yeah. I know his measurables, and he didn't test too well, but I watched a lot of Georgia football. Mm-hmm. That guy just always seemed to be like making a big play. He was always around the ball, and I like that. I mean, he just showed up. I like him.
Right.
I like Nick Scorton out of Texas A&M.
Yes.
I like him. I'm on the fence on Shamar Stewart. Shamar is.
I'm off the fence.
Yeah, you're off and you, as you should be, because he's one of those guys where, I mean, all his measurables and everything about him jumps off the tape. But then when you watch him play, it's like, where'd he go?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Where you at? Yeah.
Right.
So I'm all about not, taking Shamar Stewart high. If he was there in the second round, I'd be like, well, maybe Dennis Allen could fix him. But there's a lot of talent in this. There's a lot of, and we're talking about addressing a lot of positions. So, obviously, I think they're going to look at a tackle. I think they're going to look. At we need linebackers. We need a safety. I think we need. I'm not 100% that Brisker's going to be back.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah, I'm saying safety. Like I'm echoing. I'm like co-signing what you're saying. Like safety is something people don't talk about as much as, and for the point you are bringing out, because Brisker did not come back last year.
Yeah.
The way he plays, it's is conducive to another concussion probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And if that happens, we don't know if it's a situation where he may even retire early in his career because, quality of life is much more important than playing, ball on the gridiron. So yeah, I agree with you. I think safety is definitely a position the Bears need to address. And I think within those first 4 picks that they have, there's something that they should address. And it's not as deep a position as some of the, as running back and edge rusher and offensive lineman. So I think getting it sooner than later makes a little more sense. And again, if you trade down from the first pick, as you were saying before, and again, I think the Bears are in a flexible enough a position that they can do that. I'm not unopposed to, if you fall somewhere between 18 and 24, if you trade down, getting either Malachi Starks or Nick Imanmori out of South Carolina. Nick, Nick is a different kind of cat, man.
He's a different kind of. He is a different. Yeah, he's now. I know I like him, and then for some reason, we get there's a lot of love for the kid out of Texas too.
Makuba?
Yeah, but there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for him too. But Nick, man, I think we should get it rolling, big dog. I think we should get this mock draft going and see what this tool is really interesting. I've been playing with it, and I'll just say this. It's pretty liberal in its predictions. I'm like, so you got to run this thing, and then you're going to be like, wait a minute, what? Travis Hunter's on the clock, on the board? I'm like, I don't think that's happening. But
right.
We'll see.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to really sit down because I didn't get a chance to go with some of the needs before we go into that draft simulator, because I think the way I would draft at this point, it might be a little unorthodox, but I'm definitely trading down because I know Pittsburgh is probably going to be looking to come up because as of right now, who's their quarterback? Mason Rudolph?
Oh, the great Mason Rudolph. Come on. Don't sleep on him.
Look, I'm hearing Dallas wants to come up. If Genty gets past 9, Dallas definitely wants Genty. And so when I'm looking at, we got 4 picks in the top first 72.
Right.
Why not trade back? Pick up another second, maybe a third or a fourth, depending on who wants to come up, whether it's Pittsburgh or whether it's Dallas or whether it's some team that we're not even thinking about. And, I like James Pierce. I just think that he would get pushed around. He got the speed, but I do think that he would get pushed around if that left tackle or right tackle gets his hand on him. I think he'll get pushed up out of the play in most cases.
Don't be shortchanging my Vols, man. Come on. I'm fighting. We might have to, throw some hands, man. But come on.
Look, I'm a realist. It's too much to go up to try to get Abdul Carter. So at the end of the day, it's like, how many potential starters can I and great depth pieces can I get out of this draft? Like you stated, Glenn, Braxton Jones, love him to death, but he's still having trouble with the anchor. Hell, Ben Johnson even said it himself, like he need to pack on some weight. You and I both know if it hadn't happened in 3 years, more than likely it's not going to happen in this offseason. So if Will Campbell's gone, we might have to, again, look in the second round at either Josh Simmons from Ohio State or look at Josh Conley because I don't foresee Will Campbell dropping to number 10. I could be wrong because I know Jacksonville, they definitely, and New England too, they both need linemen.
Yeah, Jacksonville's Mason Graham all day.
I don't see Mason Graham getting past Jacksonville.
No.
So when you look at the needs, and then I'm gonna throw another curveball at you. I like Henderson from Ohio State, that running back. He's the out of all of the running backs, he reminds me the most of Jahmyr Gibbs. His ability to block though. It reminds me of David Montgomery. I'm watching him just square up on safeties, linebackers, corners, and I'm talking about stonewalling them. Mm-hmm. And then his speed, like I'm sold on Henderson. And then, of course, I know Landon Jackson, so I wouldn't mind bringing him in as an edge either. And we could probably get him with either that 39th or 41st pick,
right?
Because I think he's going to continue to develop, with his pass rush arsenal and his ability to get in the backfield. We still need another tight end. I like that kid from Miami, Arroyo. I know everybody's talking about the tight end from
Penn
from
State.
Pittsburgh, but I think Arroyo could be like Aaron Hernandez if properly implemented correctly.
Well, not too much like Aaron Hernandez, but
Well,
yeah.
not off the field.
Not the
Yeah,
off the
And
field.
look, a kid that I know very well, Oklahoma now, Bowman. Don't sleep on safety, Bowman. Like we could probably get him with that 70s. We probably could get him with that. I don't know. I want to see him go higher, but I think he got like a 4th round grade, and that's why I'm all about trading back and accumulating some more draft capital because there are some great players that we can develop in our system that really would take a year to develop. Because right now we got 4 safeties on the contract, but next year, 2026, we won't have none if Jaquan Brisker doesn't get extended. Kevin Byard is probably out the door. I like Jonathan Owens, but he's probably out the door, and Elijah Hicks is probably out the door. So, and I still see us getting one more wide receiver because we don't have a wide receiver that can stretch the field like Jameson Williams.
You just don't play.
I like Bond out of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We got to let go of the Scott little
Tyler Scott.
Little Tyler Scott dream. I mean, we've been waiting for that kid to stretch.
Think about it, guys. Hey,
yeah, but
all 3 of those wide receivers signed 1-year deal, right?
Yeah,
No,
I'm blaming a little bit on the coaching staff too, man. If you don't
Develop,
you got to develop them.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? I mean, damn, get out there. I mean, you tell me he can't run a drag route? He can't do a wide receiver screen?
Well, the thing was that I'm hearing the catch radius is too inconsistent. That's what I've heard.
Well, they knew that before they drafted him. They knew it was a little. He wasn't. I mean, listen, he's not. He doesn't have a Megatron wingspan. That was never his game. His game was to stretch the field.
Yeah, I think. But think about it. Let's be honest. Several times, Atlanta, he dropped the bomb on a 50-50 ball, hit him dead in his hand. He dropped it from Justin Fields, touchdown.
Yeah.
Against Detroit. That should have couldn't track the ball properly. Against New Orleans.
You know that comes from too, though?
From Tyson Bagent.
You know what that comes from too, though?
What's that?
Lack of reps.
Yes. I mean, bro, if I'm not getting the reps in practice, and then you throw me out there, I understand he's a professional, but that's where the development part comes in. If you're not developing him, it's like, dude, you put me out there, and I've been on the sidelines for a while. And, you tell me, all right, this is what you do, and I can run the route. I got to get used to the spin from the ball. I got to get used to the speed of the ball. I got used to catching the ball in traffic. I mean, there's a lot to adjust to. And it's not like I'm making excuses, and I guess to some degree I am. But I'm also want to say I think we have to be a little bit realistic. If you're not getting the reps at any position, how consistent are you going to be? And then I'm putting you in a high leverage, a high, situation where the game's on the line, or it's a crucial moment, and I haven't developed you, and you have 1 or 2 drops. You can't tell me it's not in his head. It's like you can create your own problems by not identifying the fact that you need to address a person's psyche. You need to address their development. You need to address, several things, because there's so much focus sometimes happens on the quarterback, and we talk, and by we, the general public and media, talk so much about the quarterback. It's like, yo, dude, you got a whole other team to develop, and in order for them to do their job, you need to develop them so that he can do his job. It's just, it's the same argument, and I'm not going to be on the Justin train, but it's the same argument made with Justin. It's like, if you're not properly developing him and the players around him, how good do you think he's going to be? Patrick Mahomes, odds on, I don't think anybody here, he's odds on favorite to be the next person to be considered the GOAT. A lot of people call him Baby GOAT. Our friend Ken Davis calls him Baby GOAT all the time, right? I mean, this dude is on track to surpass Tom Brady, probably before he's 35, right? He looked like hot garbage in the Super Bowl. Why? The players around him weren't doing what they needed to do. That's the second time in the Super Bowl we've seen him not look like Patrick Mahomes because the players around him. And that's the same thing. I mean, the situations are different. We're talking about development, but my point is that you got to make the players around you good. And you're not going to do that if you're not developing them. You're not going to do that if you're not putting them in positions to where they can succeed. If you're not running Tyler Scott out there on some short routes so he can build up his confidence, what the hell you think he's going to do when you throw him and he's got people breathing down his throat and he needs to make a catch in order to win the game? Man, his ass gonna be so damn tight. It'd be I mean, shit. I mean, look, what's that guy out of Tennessee they let go as a punt returner and slash guy out of USC?
You talking about Velus Jones?
No, yeah, Velus. Yeah, I mean, like Tyler's not Velus, but again, with Velus, it's like, dude, you got to do things to build their confidence up, especially at positions like quarterback, wide receiver, where there's so much dependent upon your success that's not even you. How well the quarterback throws the ball to you, how well the line's blocking so the quarterback can't throw the ball to you, running your routes, understanding when you got to make a switch because now it's a hot route, making catches, in traffic, between traffic. All that stuff don't just happen because you run fast. I throw you out in the field and I drafted you. Your job ain't done. You got to, and if you're not getting the reps in practice, it's fucking criminal to put you out there in the game and expect you to do something.
But it's also criminal, Glenn, if you look at, he's under contract for one more year. They just signed 2 wide receivers on 1-year deal, which more than likely, and that's why I think they're going to draft another wide receiver, because those guys more than likely won't be here after this year. Those are like short gap. And now if you look at the org chart, Tyler Scott is number 5. And he was a draft pick. So that now you're right. It's a combination of things as far as no lack of development, and that's part of the reason why the wide receiver coach got terminated as well.
Yeah.
So, but I hate to say it, it's a what have you done for me lately league. So,
true.
Tyler going in the year 3?
Yeah.
So at this point, I hate to say it, he's got to come in and fight for a roster spot.
Oh,
and
don't hate to say it. You're right. You're 100% right.
If they draft another wide receiver, because the guy Duvernay, he's going to be special team, and as of right now, the guy they got from Washington, he's going to be slated for the slot. But if they go and get a speed guy like Bond, or or one of these other guys that can just get straight line speed, Scott won't see the field again this year. So more than likely, he might get cut.
And it's a sneaky deep draft for wide receivers too.
Right, I agree with you.
It really, and that's why I say
in this draft that are sneaky good, big, radius, good, soft hands, good route runners. I mean, I'm not talking about first round first round talent.
Middle round gems.
There is a lot of middle round talent that I could see a guy like Ben Johnson saying, I can do something with that. I can in my system. This guy will be my Williams, my Jameson, or this will be my Amon St. Raw. I think he's going to use DJ Moore as his Amon St. Raw, and
for sure.
Amon Raw, and then Odunze, he's got Odunze already with I think Odunze did nothing but get better and better. The more reps he got, the more balls he caught, the more confidence he got. I'm loving Rome's ceiling, but we just need that one guy.
Well, you know what it is. You just said it. You said Ben Johnson in terms of getting someone who he's had success with. Like, who's his Jameson going to be? I can already tell you who this Jameson is in this draft, and he'll be there wherever you want to get him.
Who?
Out of Tennessee. I'm not just saying this because it's Tennessee, but out of Tennessee, Deontay Thornton Jr. That's Jameson. Dude, 4.3 speed. Long. There's your catching radius right there.
Check and see if he got a 30 visit, because I know Isaiah Bond got a 30 visit going to Chicago.
Yeah, look, I like Isaiah. I think there's so many receivers already on the Bears roster, and again, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to stay. And your 1-year contracts means nothing. You got to make the team. I get all that. I think if you get Isaiah, it's a good question of like, what else do you need to address before you have to address the receiver position, because it's not as pressing as it probably was last year, because you have a clear 1 and 2. and you've got enough veteran talent with the guys you signed that you can get by with them being in the slot. So how much of an emphasis are you placing on that position? And if so, where do you foresee that being, where the Bears draft is? Is it going to be 5th round kind of deal? Is that where you're waiting to get him? Are you trying to get him with that 72nd pick? And if so, what else are you not addressing by addressing a position that's not necessarily as position? There's not like a position deficit at receiver like there could be at safety if Brisker doesn't come back. You know what I mean? Or if when you lose Brisker potentially during the season, like that's a big hole,
And that's the reason why I think they're going to trade back to accumulate more draft capital to fill depth at that position. I truly believe that. Because where we stand right now,
you got to have a partner though, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, Glenn, mark my words. I can't reveal some of the stuff, I'm hearing, but
fair enough.
They're going to have some nice partners, trust me. All right, let's get into this draft, guys. Now, David, you could be Jeff King. Man, you could be Ryan Poles. I guess I'll be Ian Cunningham.
Ian, I can't nail that third interview, Cunningham.
Wow.
I feel bad. I thought he was getting the Tennessee job, Glenn. I thought for sure he nailed it.
Hey, you know what? It's still 31 other teams next year too. So
So look at this, guys. We already got Travis Hunter that dropped to number 10. We got Armand Membu who dropped to number 10. Tyler Warren at number 10. McMillan, Jalen Walker, Shamar Stewart, Mikael Williams, Mike Green. So when I see this, because none of the guys that I wanted to target at 10, like Will Campbell, none of them guys dropped. And this is why I would want to trade back.
Well, at this point, there ain't no way in hell I'm not taking Travis Hunter. But we know that's not realistic.
That's why I look this mock draft simulator. I don't know where its AI is at, but there's no way in hell Travis Hunter is falling to 10. It's not. It's in no way, shape, or form realistic.
Right. So I'll ignore that, and I would say at this point, and you may want to trade back, and I ain't mad at you, and you could talk me into it if you're telling me who is trading up and what we're getting. You can talk me into it. But if we're
Arizona, hey, we got an offer from Arizona. Look at what Arizona's offering now.
That's here's what I suggest, Will. Hit X out of this and hit the restart button to get to the simulator where reality is reality and Travis Hunter is there, because him being there at 10 is a scenario that screws up the rest of our draft. In this situation. It's because I would even doubt that Ryan would even, I guess, put in a simulation for such a thing. I know they plan for this stuff, but I just don't see it happening. Unbelievable.
Yeah, is that more realistic?
Yeah,
nope.
Not really.
No, because Hunter's still there.
Yeah, he's still there, and that's a weak.
Let me find another simulator because I don't like this one.
This one is crazy. This one
PFF is pretty decent.
Yeah, but unless Travis Hunter that morning was borrowed Laramie Tunsil's gas mask.
it was driving Jalen Carter's car.
Yeah, unless he was doing those two things and then bailing out and breaking Henry Ruggs out of jail, I don't think he's falling to 10, right? I mean, it's just not happening.
No, I'd be shocked if he got past 5. Be quite honest with you.
No, there's no way, because I think a lot of interesting things are in play that will dictate the 10th pick. I was telling Will, 5 and 6, Jacksonville, and the Raiders. To me, specifically, what they do, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, they're going to take Mason Graham at 5, and the Raiders are going to take Genty." Are they? I think there's a lot of smoke. with the Raiders taking Genty at 6. I just don't.
Well, I think this one is more realistic because
Go for it. I mean,
yeah.
so
Now
we're
we got
sitting at 10,
3
who's on
offers
the
on the
board?
table, guys.
Who's on the board? So if I'm looking behind it, we're sitting at 10, and Membu,
Yep.
potential starting and future left tackle, Tyler Warren to me are the only 2 picks. Jalen Walker, Shamar Stewart, and Kelvin Banks. I don't like Kelvin Banks, and I wouldn't think that he would be. So to me, and I never asked you, Glenn, what do you think about this Tyler Warren smoke? Like, if he's there at 10, the Bears got to take him.
I'm 1,000% on taking Tyler Warren at 10.
Okay.
I think he solves a lot of your problems or the Bears' problems. It presents a lot of problems for other teams. Is he running a 4.5 down the seam? No, but his run after catch is so good. He's so athletic and agile. He's so versatile. You can do a quarter. You can put him at the quarterback position on a tight end, quarterback pass, and he'll nail it. You can put him in the slot, and you can run wide receiver screens or tight end screens for him and have the wide receivers block for him. You can have him in the backfield to where you can put him on, or a linebacker has to cover him. You can put him in line to where he's blocking. You can run 12 personnel and the defense not know what you're going to do, run or pass. And that's something that Ben Johnson's really good at.
Yes.
I think it also provides depth in case, Kmet goes down. I think it helps with your blocking. It helps with your ability to go left or right, because Caleb does like to roll either left or right and throw the ball. I think it gives you so much flexibility. And with a creative mind, I have no problem with flexibility if you have a creative mind and have some concepts of what the hell to do with it, and Ben Johnson has more than proven his ability to have his concepts, evolve. And again, we're still talking about an offensive line that, although on paper looks better, still has to come together. And there's still some continuity that has to generate between these guys. Some synergy has to generate between these guys in order for them to be an effective offensive line. Having 2 tight ends that can block and run up the field and across the field, and our athletic tight ends helps even more. Especially if you're keeping Braxton at left tackle. I think it helps. I can keep going on and on about it.
I was gonna say, Will, I have to agree. Given who our coach is and the absolute usage and what he did with the Lions with Laporta, I think that's his Laporta right there. And more. And so I think if he's there at 10, I think the pick is Tyler Warren. I absolutely believe it.
Keep this in mind too. Penn State, as talented as they are, for whatever reason, they're uber conservative. Whatever. That being said, he pretty much, outside of the 2 running backs, he was the next best option, in terms of getting that offense. Like, his effectiveness really dictated how much better they could be as an offense. And they did things creatively with him, which was shocking, as uncreative and as unimaginative as they are with their offense. With him, they were expressly creative and did things, because he's just like, man, it's like, what else what can't you do?
Right. His film is impressive. His film is very impressive.
And
Okay,
I think it solves your third receiver problem too if you're the Bears.
Yeah,
that is true. Good point. Good point.
So you look at this,
so where do you go at 39? Do you trade back from 39, or do you?
No.
But if you look at this trade, Will, this doesn't benefit us this year. Look at, we get 49 in next year's second.
No.
I reject that all day.
Yeah.
And then I look and I see Kenneth Grant right there. Kenneth Grant, or there's a good safety. Xavier Watts is another safety in this draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can still get another safety. I don't feel I have to take Xavier there. I'm not pissed at Donovan Jackson, because he's shown his ability, and it helps you with your interior, with your depth with your interior. But I'm looking at more edge rusher at this point. What other edge rusher can we?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So as you can see at edge, JT Tumaloa, Princely,
Tui Maloa, yeah, JTT. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
I like Princely. If he, if my guy Landon Jackson's not there,
Landon gone.
he's
Landon's
gone.
Jack Sawyer's there.
Well, I was gonna say I can hold on for Jack Sawyer. I can take Princely here. I don't think I'm necessarily gonna take JTT at this point. I like his athleticism, but I'm not quite certain how well he holds up at the point of attack.
And you got to remember, we pick in 2 spots, so we could
Right.
we pick right like 2 right on top of each other, so we could be kind of maybe come back at edge and see what else is that out there. But that's why I was like, what wide receiver is there?
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? What are we looking at the receiver then?
Well, is our stretch guy there, right?
Hey,
You know what? Jalen Noel.
Jalen Noel.
Oh,
Jalen Noel is he's nasty.
he's nasty.
Jalen Noel is one of those guys like him and Jaden Higgins are 2 guys that I'm like, man, if they're there in the late 3rd or 4th or something,
I wouldn't be upset taking Jalen Knowles here right now and still getting my edge rusher, whether it's Umam Yellen or even, possibly trading down a little bit, possibly maybe getting Jack Sawyer at 72. He may still be there.
Jack Sawyer will be there at 72.
But Jalen Noel, dude, that guy's a difference maker. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the verticality in terms of getting up there. He plays physical. He's good after the catch. He's sudden. Here's the thing: you talk about remind you of players you've already coached. There's a lot of St. Brown that I see in Jalen Noel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Noel he's one of those guys where I think if he's on the board possibly at 41, I could see Ben Johnson saying, "Go get my Amon Ra."
I'm not playing right now. At 39, I'm gonna take him because at 40, somebody could take him.
And I ain't mad at you. Yeah, yeah.
So
Jalen Noel it is.
Yeah, I would take Jalen Noel.
So at 41, are we trading back? Hell no. Not for no 2020.
I'm gonna see what running back you have, and I'm gonna see what edge rusher you have at 41.
Now what about this draft? I mean, what about this trade offer from New York, the Jets?
Oh, hell yeah, I would take that. We move up from 148 to 110.
Yep.
And we just move back one spot. Oh, yeah.
And they got Trey Harris. And then look, the 49ers just offered us 43.
I would do that.
100.
I would do that.
Yeah. All day.
Buffalo just offered us pick 56.
No, thank you.
Bengals pick 49.
No.
So with that being said, at 43, running back, there goes my guy, Trayvon Henderson.
So
I mean, if he's there at 43, to me, I'm running to the podium. Travion is nasty. And I mean, again, I don't see this happening, but if it does, I'm sprinting to the podium. And I would say this: if he was gone and it was Caleb Judkins,
I would take Judkins.
I would take Judkins all day.
Yep.
I love the Ohio State boys.
Yes,
they are both nasty, and they're both kind of got Judkins. Judkins is just a little bit more of a physical runner,
right.
and he's a hell of a blocker. Of a blocker. But Henderson, that guy is a home run hitter. That guy is. He could be Ben Johnson's Jahmyr Gibbs. That guy is a.
But Judkins reminded me too much of Roshan too, the way he runs.
A little bit so, but Judkins is faster. Judkins is faster
he's definitely faster now.
And Judkins is more than one cut. Judkins has some wiggle to him, which is what I meant earlier. I don't want somebody will this Omarion Hampton rumor triggered me. I'm like, I don't want. I think he's a good back. I think he's a good back. We already got him on the roster. I mean, I don't see him bringing anything else that we don't already have. I like Henderson. I like Judkins. Caleb Johnson's. I like him. He's a big back. But right here, it's Henderson. Henderson all day.
Yeah, I'm fine. You talk me into it.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger, Will.
So next pick at 72. So what y'all thinking for 72?
Well,
What's the best edge rusher you have?
Edge, the best edge out there.
the best we got.
Man, y'all think Princely gonna make it to 72?
I mean, if he does, again, you sprint to the
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say
I don't think he makes it to 72.
The only two I would debate was with Brinson, but he's gone. The LSU guy. But
oh, the Saints got it right.
Saints took it right.
The Saints got it,
and I
baby.
could see that. I could see that would be such a Chicago thing to happen.
It would be.
So,
I'm not pissed at Jordan Birch, but I don't know. You could probably get him a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't.
We got two trade offs. We got one from Minnesota.
But hold up a second.
Safety.
Jack Sawyer's right there too.
Oh, is Sawyer still available?
Yeah, Sawyer is still right there. Sawyer is another guy that I think Dennis Allen would bang the table for and say, "I want that guy on my D line." He's. I know he's down below these 5 players, but Jack Sawyer is just one of those guys, man. He just.
I'm with you. To me, it's like when the Lions took Jack Campbell, I was like, that's kind of high. Did you really need to take him there? And no, they probably could have waited, but they're not mad that they took him.
Right.
And he's just going to keep getting better. So I would feel the same way about Sawyer. Now, I do know that just based on what Allen has done, he likes those bigger defensive ends.
Right.
And that's why I said a guy like Jordan Birch, I'm not pissed at. Because you're not asking him to be the guy, because that's what you're paying Montez to be. But Jordan gives you that flexibility of being able to play on the edge, but also you can slide him inside. Kind of like, I was saying with Landon Jackson, just not as much ability to drop back into coverage. He's straight more just, D-line type, not that ability to kind of be flexible in terms of helping you out on pass coverage or helping you out in maybe in screens. I don't know how good he is in that regard. But Birch, he's got some length. He is athletic, and that's a guy I think you can slide inside on pass rushing downs if need be, and someone who can hold the point of attack well on the outside there. I see like Jack Sawyer to me. I like him a lot. I don't know if he's a traditional 4-3 kind of guy. I think in a 3-4 defense, he's probably more useful there just off of, the eyeball test. But I think he is athletic enough. I think he's enough of a dog and enough of a football player he can grow into that position. So it's the question of whether or not you want to get someone 6'4", 280, or who can be, traditional, DN, or if you want to get someone like Sawyer, who you're going to have to be specific about how you use them and intentional in how you use them.
But Glenn, I think we have that flexibility with the way with the signing that, and I can't pronounce his name yet. I'll learn it. Deo from Indianapolis. I think we have the flexibility to roll the dice on Sawyer to use him in packages with Dale and the progression of Austin Booker.
Right. So, yeah. Booker's still on the team. You're right. That's
Booker's still on the team, and I fully believe that Dennis Allen's going to get more out of him than the previous coaching staff. I think he's got a lot of talent, and he's got a good motor too. So at this point, I'm looking for high character, high motor, guys that fly around the ball. And Jack Sawyer at this point to me is a tremendous value. But that's how I'm feeling.
Here's the thing: you mentioned Booker. How about on your third and long passing downs, you slide Birch inside and bring Booker right there as a right end. So now you've got Birch next to Javon Dexter and Montez Sweat, and you've got Booker and Sweat on the outside. You've got length everywhere.
Just going to kick Grady Jarrett to the curb, to the sideline on the rushing.
Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're right. Damn.
Grady Jarrett ain't coming off the field on third down, brother.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Hey,
come on now. Y'all ain't gonna give Zach Pickens no love?
Who?
Zach Pickens.
Oh, get out of here. Stop that mess. Get out of here with that mess.
Who?
Zach Pickens.
I'm an SEC guy all day, but I mean, like you said, after a few years, I mean, if you can't get on the field and there's not really anybody in front of you, what's that saying?
I mean, my thing about Jack Sawyer is he's 6'4", 260. You can't tell me they can't pack on another 20 pounds of muscle or mass on it. So
He doesn't need the weight. I think 260 is a good size.
Yeah.
He's got to get that functional strength to hold up at the point of attack. That's the only thing I'm concerned about with him, because he hasn't really had to do that collegiately speaking. So that's the only thing. And it's like, but look, you have enough defensive guys on that line that drafting him, I'm not pissed, because he'll develop. Like I said, he's got enough dog. He's got enough. He's a football player. He's going to rise to whatever the challenge is, and whatever the coaching staff is asking him to do, he'll acclimate to. I have no doubt about that. So I don't know if we're making a decision here or not. Do you want to wait on Jack Sawyer?
I don't think for our next pick, because where's our next pick at this point?
We picked up some. We moved up a little.
We got the next pick at 100.
Yeah, I think Sawyer be there at 100. What do we have at safety?
You got Andrew McCougar from Texas.
I think I'm taking McCougar.
I think that's
I'm not even thinking about it no more.
I'm not even thinking about it. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
McCougar it is now.
Yeah.
McCougar.
Now I think Jack will be there at 100.
All right,
I think he may be there too.
So slap it on there. Let's see.
What about David Walker from Central Arkansas? Y'all don't like him?
I don't know much about.
I will say I'm not. Yeah,
I don't got much mental film on him. I'd kind of be like, I'd be like Snoop on the microphone. Who?
Dude, I'm surprised Walker fell that far. That's probably going to Green Bay though, because he is a problem.
Yeah, but Jack is if Sawyer's there right there.
Sawyer. There we go.
Now the next pick is 233. So these are definitely, hopefully, some depth picks if they make the really just special team. This is gonna be for our special teams guy.
The thing about this, the thing about this draft though is that not once did we look at any interior offensive linemen or any tackles, because I think after we get out of that there's a couple guys after that, it kind of just drops off. It kind of just drops off talent wise. I like listen, if the draft were to go like this with such a focus on safety and defensive line and running back and the tight end, I'd be happy. To me, this would be a home run draft.
I think the steal of the draft is getting the Iowa State wide receiver with the way we went.
Yeah.
What you think about Willie Lampkin from North Carolina?
What position you play?
Center.
I think if he can, most centers usually can play guard. So I like it as a depth move, as an interior offensive lineman move. And so at this point, I'm just looking for guys that can be developed and they can learn. Because here's the thing too, as much as he was a bit of a disappointment last year, Karan is somebody that's still on the line on the team too. And you would hope that his development, being healthy and being in an offensive line room where he's learning from good veterans, not just veterans, but good accomplished veterans, could be something that can help his curve go in the right direction. And so you still have, you have some decent. Oh, dude, if Cooper Mays is still there, I would jump all over that. At 240, you said it's our next pick?
Yeah, 233.
233? If Cooper Mays is still there, I'd jump all over that, because it gives you the same thing we were just talking about. You got a guy that's been in the SEC. Arguably, at one point, he was looked at as a top 100 pick going into last season. Yes.
Why is he falling, I wonder then?
Because this is because we're doing this mock thing here.
Okay.
Yeah, but they say he struggled with power rushes, occasionally giving ground before reestablishing position. His run blocking also has been a concern as he struggles to generate movement without the assistance of double team. Woo! Mays was not invited to the NFL scouting combine, which may impact. Hey, they projected him as an undrafted free agent, Glenn.
Well, that's them. And like I said, going into the season, he was considered like a top 100 pick. Now, as the season wore, Tennessee had a pretty good offensive line. They generated a lot of offensive points. I think if you get someone like him, you're not saying you're coming in to be the starter. You're saying you're coming in to be the guy that's the left guard, right guard, and the backup center.
Okay. So, what you think? What you think?
Well, I'm
Dave?
not saying you have to take him. I'm just mentioning that. I mean, who else?
We need depth. We need depth. I mean, that's why I brought that up. I'm like,
so who we taking at 240? What we need now? Oh, we still need a tight end, don't it?
We took the tight end.
Tyler Warren.
We took Tyler Warren.
Man, we sure did.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I would look for another offensive lineman. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't have enough, dude. And like I say, my thing is, if you can draft two at a position, so to speak. If one doesn't work out, hopefully the other one does.
yeah, that's true.
can I just see what
Offense.
quarterbacks are left?
Sure.
I'm just curious.
You said quarterback?
Wow, Brady Cook is still
Brady
there.
Cook is still on the board.
That's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Because I got to tell you something, guys. I think Tyson Bagent gets dealt relatively.
You think so?
I think Tyson Bagent gets dealt this offseason.
Trevor Etienne is still there.
Trevor Etienne.
Did y'all just see that?
Trevor Etienne is the only. I think he was one of two running backs maybe that clocked in at 4.3. I mean, Trevor Etienne is 4.3 speed.
Yes.
Y'all know that, right?
I'm not
And
pissed at that.
my thing is
Hey, on Jimmy Horn Jr. still left.
Jimmy Horn Jr. too is a really good route runner and underrated hand. I like Jimmy Horn Jr. too. He's the kind. I mean, I keep this draft in mind with who our coach is. Our coach. I mean, he literally. What did he say in his press conference? He's like, I want to win by 5 points. I want to dominate. Would you rather win 20 to 21 to 19 or 40 to nothing? He's like, we're going to score points and we're going to score a lot of points. I'm just saying, I think he's going to be super aggressive with offensive weapons that he can scheme.
Well, to do that though, he needs offensive line. that's what he had. That's what he had in Detroit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So what y'all think about Willie Lampkin?
I was gonna say I like your Willie Lampkin at this point.
Willie Lampkin, yeah.
He's a beast, boy. He dominated at the Senior Bowl.
And what a position.
Oh, Shiloh Sanders got picked up on him.
Oh, I don't know about that. Shiloh to me is one of those priority undrafted free agent guys that's gonna.
Man, Shiloh said he got drafted. He ain't trying to hear what you talking about. He
Okay,
said he run a 4.5, baby. Let's go.
So this is
I
what
think-
I draft.
I think if this is our draft at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a lot of high-fiving. I think there's going to be a lot of hooting and hollering. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement because, I mean, you look at the top 3 picks, those guys are nasty.
They're
Those guys
playing.
are nasty. Yeah.
And they're playing.
And then the depth pieces after that, and the safety pickup, Andrew Mukabe. Andrew is right at 4.39, 4.44 speed, super fast safety, ball hawk, pass deflection. He's not very big, but the guy
He's not
flies
small.
around the ball. He'd be an excellent safety in the system. Jack Sawyer, I love that pick. Where we got him.
Mhm.
I think he's one of those guys that'll be a fan favorite because of his motor and his no quit attitude, and just doing more because he's good up here more than what he's physically. I think he's a smart player. Cooper Mays and Willie Lampkin, like Glenn said, depth, baby, depth. Because who did we lose? Jenkins is gone. Tevin is gone. Larry Borum is gone. I mean, we need to fill some gaps in our backups. So
I'll tell you what, as I look at this draft, one of the things that really sticks out to me is I'm looking at 2 Ohio State guys. So those are 2 guys that won a national championship. Those guys that win games.
Yep.
They're used to winning. I look at Penn State. They're not winning championships, but they're double-digit wins every season. I look at Iowa State, competitive, but that's the chip on my shoulder type kind of school that produces really good players. David Montgomery, for example. You look at Texas, again, you're looking at a school that you come from a winning program, and you had a coach who's coached in the pros from time to time, but also a coach who's really good at developing players that do play at the next level. And again, Tennessee and North Carolina, you're talking, top 40, top 50 schools. And Tennessee was a top 25 school throughout the entire season. So my point being, you have guys that have come from winning programs, guys that are used to winning. Good culture.
Yes,
None of these guys have shown to have any issues off the field. These guys have been consistent. And you're not just drafting guys who've only been good for a year or two. You're drafting guys that have been good for 2 or 3 years. So I really like, if you're talking about culture and development, a lot of that's your mindset coming into. I mean, take for example, what's my guy that was taken by the Giants, the receiver out of LSU,
Malik
Neighbors. You could just tell, like, mid through the season, he's like, what kind of bull crap is going on around here?
Absolutely.
And LSU hadn't really won anything while he was there, but they were always in the mix. He's like, this is some BS. You look at Garrett Wilson, his rookie year, he's calling out the team. He's like, man, what is going on? Like, I'm used to winning Big Ten championships. We can't even win 2 games in a row. What is going on here?
Too much dysfunction.
Right. So when your young guys are able to call out what is dysfunctional, as you mentioned, Will, within an organization and within the locker room in the organization, that's not a good sign.
Absolutely.
But it is a good sign that you have that guy on your team, because that means it means something to him. And so you hope that you can. Now, we're just, with this draft here, should it go for anything close to how we have here, you're bringing in guys that have that mentality coming into a team that, although it's been losing, it's been frustrated. It knows that it could and should be better. Plus, you have a head coach, as you mentioned earlier, that's like, no, I'm coming in to kick ass and take it. I mean, I like his petty. He got that kind of petty I like. He came in saying like, oh yeah, Green Bay. Oh, yeah, I like beating what's the head coach of Green Bay?
LaFleur.
He's like, I like beating LaFleur. He ain't say I like competing. He says I like beating LaFleur
Twice a year.
Twice a year. He's not saying the Green Bay Packers. He ain't saying we're going to compete. He went straight to the coach. He made it personal. He was specific. And I like that, because that means that, he gonna come at you. That's a fearlessness that we didn't have from the last coach. He was too, too I don't know what the word, too passive aggressive. I don't know. He was just he wasn't.
I would say passive aggressive.
He was too diplomatic.
He was just too passive. He was
just
too passive. Period.
Too passive. So, which is weird, because he was a defensive guy. But here you got a guy that's like, yo, what? He's like, what? He's the kind of guy, if he were a college coach, he's running up the score. It's kind of like Spurrier. I hated Spurrier in Florida. Trust me, as a Tennessee guy, I freaking hated Spurrier. But I respected the fact that his petty was on point all the time. What do you call Florida State? Free Shoes University.
Yeah.
You see about Tennessee, hey, you can't spell Citrus Bowl without the U and the T. I mean, he just talking mass crap all the time. But you back it up
on the field.
Exactly. And I think that this coach that we have here in Ben Johnson is the type of person, at least his spirit seems to be in that direction. And we haven't had anything like that, really, to be quite honest with you, since Ditka. And I'm not the biggest Ditka fan per se, but that was my coach. I'm standing behind him like, hey, look, because what we saw his petty. Okay. Bring our offense next time, San Francisco. You beat us in the conference championship. Okay. How you like William Perry? How you like that bit of offense? Hey, Green Bay. Yeah, we use him on Monday Night Football. Now we're going to have him run a pass route. We're going to put him in motion. I mean, dude, that's just petty as hell, and personal. And that's all right, because you have to have that type of, like, I don't give a about you.
Right.
And when you do that, more times than not, whether it's basketball or football, can't speak to hockey. Baseball is a little bit different kind of sport, but football and basketball, more times than not, the team tends to emulate the head coach, personality-wise, in terms of the spirit of the team. And when we're talking about identity, we know who you are. you know, you FAFO for the rest of the league when it comes to the Bears going forward, because I do believe that this coach can go in that direction. But to do that, he's going to need that offensive line to be something more than what it has been. And the more weapons he has, the more he has to play with. And I think we did our job here in helping facilitate that.
Yes, sir.
I think we did a great job as well, guys. And we got to give kudos and hats off to our team president, Kevin Warren, because he was the one that enabled and ensured that all of this was executed by working with the chairman, Mr. McCaskey, and ensuring that we got the resources we need for coaching and for free agency, and and also working on this stadium that's going soon to be in Arlington Heights.
Sorry, bro.
Hey, kudos to Kevin Warren, guys.
We'll see about that one.
All right, fellas, but good. This is good stuff, man. I'm excited.
This was good stuff, man. Like I said, we're going to have a good year, guys. Hey, let's stay dialed in. Let's stay motivated because, at the end of the day, I know every year they say we're the off-season champs, but I think this year is going to translate onto the field. We got to stay positive, guys. We have to.
No choice.
There's no other option.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, great draft. Hey, great collaborating with my guys as always. I got to get ready for another meeting here in about 10 minutes. So, look.
Do your thing, man.
We're going to pick this back up next week and get ready to start this thing off as we get ready to start doing some more, draft prep.
Getting closer. Just 2 weeks away.
Get ready for OTA, mini camp.
2 weeks away.
Let's go, guys.
Tonight. 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to be woo. Anyway, Glenn, good seeing you. Will, good seeing you.
Absolutely. Likewise, all the time.
All right, fellas.
Call them up.
Peace out. Oh, okay. All right, there we go.